NTA International News.
Work commences in earnest at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja, as construction company moves equipment to site. Security at Nigeria's expansive borders. Air components patrol strategy receives a boost. Federal government to deal with smugglers of frozen fish. Plus, extrajudicial killing sentences 2 to death. It's my pleasure to welcome you to the news on NTA International, reaching you from Abuja, Nigeria's capital. Ominodan is my name. President Muhammadu Buhari Thursday afternoon received Archbishop of Canterbury, Most Reverend Justin Welby, at the Abuja House in London. The president confirmed this on his Twitter handle, where he wrote, and I quote, "Very pleased to welcome my friend, the Most Reverend and Right Honorable Justin Welby, Archbishop of Canterbury, to Abuja House this afternoon," unquote. Archbishop of Canterbury is the senior bishop and principal leader of the Church of England. He is also the symbolic head of the worldwide Anglican Communion and the diocesan bishop of the Diocese of Canterbury. The visit by the Archbishop of Canterbury came a day after the president called Nigeria to commiserate with former Ekiti State Governor Niyi Adebayo on the death of his father, describing the late former governor of the defunct Western Region, Major General Adeni Yinka Adebayo, as a true patriot. The Kaduna Airport today officially commenced operations as an alternative airport to the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja. This paved way for repair works on the runway as equipment are being conveyed to the site. Emmanuel Ayimiro has an update on that and the movement of passengers by road to Kaduna Airport. We started around 7 in the morning this Thursday.
As soon as the Abuja airport was shut down against air operations midnight Wednesday, the contractor handling repair works took over and displays the runway markings, which indicates no more landing or takeoff of an aircraft.
The work that has been done so far is that the runway had been handed over to the contractor, Julius Berger, last night at about 1 a.m. Even if by chance an aircraft is on air and wants to do emergency landing, it cannot be possible because the marking has already displayed that runway is not in use.
Another development is the commencement of the movement of passengers by road to Kaduna. This was greeted with the initial challenge of where the passengers are to go for screening or boarding.
We already made arrangement that henceforth anybody coming, there will be staff to direct the passengers to the entry point and where they should be seated. So that is not a big deal. We've already taken care of that problem.
From 7 a.m. we started moving passengers from this terminal. Currently, as we speak, we've moved 4 buses, and these ones are waiting now to be moved according to the flight schedule.
For now, movement of air passengers to Kaduna Airport by road is from Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja, which many passengers complained is time-consuming. Emmanuel Ayemiro, NTA News.
Meanwhile, business activities at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport are at its lowest ebb this Thursday. The airport is deserted following the closure of the runway for repair works. Chukwunanso Nwabweze has the report.
Premises of the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja, is usually a beehive. But the reverse is the case now. Barely 24 hours, the runway was closed for repair works. Few businesses that were opened for transactions inside the airport terminal recorded little or no patronage from the few air passengers, while some luggage handling firms as well as private taxi operators who make daily earnings at the airport were idle.
Just standing here waiting for our manager to come and give us the further directive so that we can know what to do.
However, Saida to Suleiman, a food vendor who was lucky this day, expressed the fear that she and other small business operators within the airport will be facing the toughest 6 weeks of their lives.
When we reach that place now, we now look at that place. That place, they very dry, no people there. That is why we say, let us come back to this place and see how it be. And as we come now, God will help us.
With earnings from business activities within the airport projected to be on the low side within the next 1.5 months, many forecast a huge turnaround when flight operation resumes in the airport. Chukunonsonwa Boeze, NTA News.
In the meantime, the air component of Nigeria's border patrol strategy is to receive a boost, with plans underway to resuscitate the Nigerian Immigration Service Air Border Patrol Unit at the old Kaduna Airport. Minister of Interior Abdulrahman Dambazao, on a visit to the facility, said the 3 aircrafts on ground will soon be upgraded as a starting point towards strengthening security at Nigeria's expansive borders. Ahmad Ambali reports.
On the walls of the maintenance workshop at the old airport in Kaduna, these pictures tell a story. A tale of aircrafts that once bestrode the skies at the Immigration Air Border Patrol Unit, where NTA have set in, leaving a gap further widened by the expanse of Nigeria's borders and the clear and present security challenges they present. General Abdulrahman Dambazao, the Minister of Interior, has received briefs about the situation. He has come along with the Controller General of Immigration to see what can be done to get the birds back in the skies again.
And I understood that they have engines, some of them new or somehow new. I believe 60% of our job has been done. We need to sit down and look at the 40%. What's that 40%? Fixing those engines into the aircraft, refurbishing them, training more of pilots and engineers. Then we're done.
They have to be fitted with modern equipment that allows for night patrol and real-time image capturing and processing. On its part, the Nigeria Immigration Service says it is ready to meet up with the adult task of patrolling Nigeria's borders.
So this aircraft will be able to patrol longer distance. We'll put our troops in different patrol bases. With a good communication, we can respond to problems as they come.
Talks are underway to get an aircraft service maintainer, and depending on how that pans out, the aircrafts may take to the skies sooner than later. From the old airport in Kaduna, Ahmed Ambali, NTA News.
2 police officers have been sentenced to death by an Federal Capital Authority High Court over extrajudicial killing of 6 traders in Abuja in 2005. The case, known as the Apo 6 killing, was resolved by the Chief Judge of the FCT High Court, Justice Ishaq Bello, after 11 years of trial. Judiciary correspondent Femi Okewo reports.
Agostina Rebom and Anthony Nwokeke are 2 of the 6 traders that fell to the bullets of some policemen who were said to have been on patrol on the 7th of June 2005. 4 of their colleagues had earlier been killed in a rain of bullets in their vehicle. Having escaped that incident, Agostina and Anthony were handed over to the police, who took them away and shot them. After 11 years of trial, the FCT High Court has now established that Ezekiel Acheneche and Emmanuel Baba were among those who did the killing. The 3 others charged along with them, Deputy Commissioner of Police Danjuma Ibrahim, who was alleged to have given the orders, Uthman Abdusalami and Sadiq Salami, were discharged and acquitted for want of evidence linking them to the killing. Even the 2 sentenced to death were convicted on the strength of their confessional statement. And although they retracted later, Justice Ishaq Bello said their retraction was an afterthought. Justice Ishaq Bello had some hard words for the Nigerian police following the testimony of one of the witnesses that the police authorities did not encourage a thorough investigation into the killing.
It was not very easy sourcing witnesses because we needed to rely on same policemen, as witnesses in this case, and in many cases they were transferred from outside jurisdiction. Arrangements were made to bring them. So many factors militated against a very speedy and expeditious disposal of this case.
Overzealousness on the part of uniformed personnel and impunity in their use of their arms are some of the traits that are in this matter, and the court acknowledged them as such and warned that these traits must stop in the Nigerian society. From the FCT High Court, Abuja, Femi Okeowo, NTA News.
The international community is committed to rendering necessary support to Nigeria in tackling challenges emanating from insurgency in the Northeast region. United Nations Resident Coordinator in charge of humanitarian efforts, Edward Kalong, said this while on a visit to the Presidential Committee on Northeast Initiative in Abuja. Joseph Orok reports.
In a fact-finding in the Northeast, the United Nations team said it observes that about 14 million people have been affected by insurgency, out of which 8.5 million people need urgent assistance. These mostly children, youths, and women, the team observed, are suffering without any means of livelihood. While the team appreciates efforts by the Presidential Committee on Northeast Initiative, a critical analysis of the situation, the team said, made it obvious that the region needs concerted efforts by all stakeholders towards transformational change in the region to complement the present administration's plans. The visit, therefore, is to enable the United Nations humanitarian team fine-tune collaboration on how to scale up intervention efforts in the region for sustainable livelihood and integrity of the people.
This is not really a Nigerian problem, this is a regional problem, and that is why we are very much, we are very happy that the international community has recognized this Boko Haram menace, and they are ready to come to support the government of Nigeria and the countries in the region to try to find a solution to the problem.
Vice Chairman of the committee, Tijani Tumsa, who received the team, highlighted efforts by the committee in resettling the displaced persons and said the Buhari plans for the region streamline short, medium and long-term programs which are being followed.
The United Nations and the systems under the UN is seeking to work in closer collaboration with the PCNI, which is the apex body for all interventions going to the Northeast.
Joseph Orok, NTA News.
Information and Culture Minister Lai Mohammed has applauded efforts by the Presidential Enabling Business Council for fast-tracking the 60 days natural action plan in Nigeria. The minister was speaking when he received in audience coordinator of the council in Abuja. Anthony Fossen has details.
The Information and Culture Minister, Lai Mohammed, who gave the council a pat on the back for working within time frame, said the policy of the council to pursue the new visa policy, business registration, as well as importation bureaucracy is commendable given the new policy on the ease of doing business in Nigeria.
Small and medium, it has employed about 70% Nigerians. You can see how important this is to government. But many Nigerians don't even know that we have achieved as much as we have done today. If within less than 1 year we have done this, I'm sure the next 6 months, 12 months, that will be a better place to do business.
Coordinator of the council, Jumoke Oduwole, said the council has, through due diligence, observed transparency, worked in a manner that businesses, especially those that affect micro, small, and medium enterprises, will be carried along.
We also want to encourage the use of the collateral registry and credit bureaus for lending decisions, because this aids the flow of getting credit, particularly for SMEs. If they have credit history or if they lodge even their movable assets at the collateral registry, then they have a better chance.
Responding to questions, the coordinator of the council explained that a robust legal framework has been put in place to dispose of litigations, while cutting-edge technology will be applied in all the processes. In Abuja, Anthony Fossen, NTA News.
As different sectors continue to collaborate with the federal government in putting an end to economic recession, The Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, has been identified as a strategic media partner. Against this background, the 2017 Nigeria Outlook, an initiative galvanizing incisive economic performance mechanism, came for talks. Ado Adamu reports.
The future looks bright for the country as different sectors are working together in supporting government to end the economic recession. The synergy is creating new platforms for diverse contributions from different sectors. The 2017 Nigeria Outlook is an annual publication giving incisive analysis of the ongoing federal government strategies aimed at repositioning the economy for optimal performance. The publisher, during a courtesy visit to the management of the Nigerian Television Authority, seeks collaboration to achieve wider publicity for the annual economic report.
We have a document that can represent Nigeria effectively in the international community and also communicate the current administration, the policies, programs, and plans very effectively.
The Director General of the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, Yakubu Ibn Muhammad, represented by the Executive Director News, Shola Atere, commended the publishers for the foresight. He also commended the federal government effort in battling the economic recession, which is expected to end this year, and pledged to work with the project to achieve the desired objective.
We need to look at life positively. That's exactly what I presume this project is all about. So this is a notable project, and you can be sure that NTA, will collaborate with you.
The challenges notwithstanding, Nigeria remains a prime investment destination in Africa with a large market, diverse natural resources, and vast agricultural potentials. In Abuja, Ado Adamu also, NTA News.
You're watching the news on NTA International, reaching you from Abuja, Nigeria's capital. Stay on for more reports when we return after the break. Welcome back. The Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Babashir David Lawal, has dissociated himself from a publication in the Nigerian National Daily that slams Christians, says they want President Muhammadu Buhari death. A statement by the Director Press Office of the SGF, Bolaji Adebiyi, maintained that the report is completely inconsistent with the sermon delivered by the Secretary to the Government of the Federation in Israel, adding that the full text of the sermon can be obtained on the SGF's Facebook account. The statement said he only called on Christians, and in particular prophets, not to prophesy calamities on the nation's leaders, nor threaten retaliation on criminals in the name of Christianity. It adds that the only reference to President Buhari was to counsel Nigerians to believe only the official reports on the state of health of the president and not rumors and false news. The federal government has directed law enforcement agencies to deal decisively with smugglers of frozen fish and poultry products into the country. Musa Baba Aliu reports that this came at a news briefing on the demand and supply of fish in Nigeria.
Poultry products remain important sources of food, income, and employment in developed and developing countries. In Nigeria, the current demand for fish is put at 3.2 million metric tons per annum, while the local production is estimated at about 1.1 million metric tons.
In Nigeria, we can only grow aquaculture and then tilapia fish. We have not been able to succeed in tilapia fish, only aquaculture.
Under the Sea Fishery Act, approvals have to be given to importers to bring in fish to close the deficit. The government, however, says it has discovered abuses in the importation of the products.
The smuggling of these unhealthy frozen fish into the country is detrimental to the progress being made towards guaranteeing the good health and nutrition of Nigerians.
The minister also emphasized that the importation of fish through the land border remains illegal.
The Federal Minister of Agriculture at the moment has put in place measures to arrest, detain, and prosecute offenders as provided for under the Sea Fisheries Act, Cap S4, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004.
Under the law, any person found guilty of smuggling fish into the country will face a 5-year jail term or a fine of $250,000 or both. In Abuja, Musa Baba Aliyu, NTA News.
As part of efforts to encourage young scientists, the federal government instituted Young Scientist Presidential Award to facilitate the teaching and learning of science-related subjects at higher school level. For the 2017 award, examination students have been nominated for the 36 states of the Federation, and the FCT science correspondent Kiran Mayo reports.
Minister of Science and Technology Dr. Boneyonu told the students that the current administration is desirous of nurturing young scientists because of the need to grow future scientists that will make Nigeria one of the scientifically and technologically developed nations.
We want to be a nation that will be respected by other countries. And the only way we can do it is if we make contributions that other countries recognize, and it is for you. You will do it. The future belongs to you.
The sense of this competition is to see to what extent can we allow our youth to buy into the science and technology programs of this country and indeed the world. The program started last year through competitions at local government levels, then to the state levels. And today we are witnessing the national finals.
Through this competition, it is essential to bring students from all over the country, at least to test their scientific ability for a better future.
Competitions like this provide breeding ground for young innovators to be pulled out to represent the country and develop our economy.
Winners of the Young Nigerian Scientist Presidential Award will be rewarded at the 2017 Science Expo in April. Kirian Umayo, NTA News.
We now bring you reports from outside Nigeria with Basi Itaipan as our guide.
The rivalry between President Salva Kiir and his former deputy Riek Machar has plunged the country into civil war. The UN's representative said that the politicians seem more interested in their own intrigues than ensuring food and medical care reach a population beset by famine and civil war. Reports further add that, but for international aid, tens of thousands more Sudanese would be dead. The South Sudanese government has, however, raised the cost of a work permit for a foreign aid worker from $100 to $10,000. And from Malaysia comes a report that 2 among 11 Malaysians banned from leaving North Korea have flown out of the country. North Korea and Malaysia on Tuesday banned each other's citizens from leaving over the killing of the North Korean leader's half-brother. And away from Africa, Poland has threatened to derail Thursday's EU summit as it attempts to block the re-election of Donald Tusk as president of European Council. Report says Poland will do everything to prevent a vote on the matter. The ruling Law and Justice Party PIS implicably opposes Mr. Tusk, a former prime minister from a rival party. Basi Taipan, NTA News.
Moving on to sports, Super Eagles remains unmoved in the latest FIFA World Ranking as FC Barcelona completes a historic comeback in the UEFA Champions League. Details on Sports Update with Tamara Ibiwe.